Hey, good morning. I'm John F. Gately. You can call me Jack. Welcome to the show. A happy Thursday. Looks like a kind of overcast morning today. Hopefully it'll warm up and the sun will come out. Great to be with you. We have a great show. Today. A lot of Maura Healey news today. She is very upset that Trump has cut $350 million from the state budget. She's actually started another dashboard to track the Trump cuts. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about her hidden electric rate hike. Oh, wait till you hear about that. We kind of hinted about this yesterday. Leah Foley, the U.S. attorney, is not yet bringing down the hammer on these left-wing radicals, but she sent a warning shot, heard around the world yesterday. We'll talk about that and a lot more. Let's get into some good news right off the bat. First off, friend of the show, and we've had him on the show actually at one point. Really happy to share this news. The Main Wire is announcing that the Robinson report, the Steve Robinson report, is a new thing now. So you can get out there and you could go over what is the it's robinsonreport.substack.com, robinsonreport.substack.com, and you can subscribe, and there's all sorts of good Steve Robinson content over here at the Robinson Report, which just launched. And Main Wire announced it yesterday. Main Wire announced it today. So great news. Congratulations, Steve. You want to head over to the Main Wire for their feed or robinsonreport.substack.com. We'll cover a couple of other additional tidbits, follow-ups from yesterday, and then we'll get into our main stories. First off, we also mentioned yesterday that there could be a potential conflict because the Attorney General of Massachusetts gave a $100,000 grant to an organization that very shortly thereafter decided to launch a campaign against your Second Amendment rights. And now Toby Leary from Cape Gunworks, also friend of the show, been guest on the show, has now filed an ethics commission complaint regarding this matter. So he filed this the other day, and he's filing it relative to the Massachusetts Coalition to Prevent Gun Violence and their CEO, Ruth Zakarian. So way to go, Toby, keeping their feet to the fire, and we'll keep you posted as that story continues. Seems to be a conflict. We'll find out as the Ethics Commission will, I'm sure, take it very, very seriously. I went to City Hall yesterday, and this is all I got. Yeah, all that in a T-shirt. TFA, nowhere to be found in City Hall yesterday. The media was just hovering by the council chamber and the entrance to the council offices, but she was nowhere to be found. And I did get a better picture this time than I did last time. Last time, the nameplate was a little fuzzy, but today I got my focus. And, yeah, she was nowhere to be found. The motion, that would have been would have been non-binding. The non-binding motion to call for her resignation again was blocked by another counselor. So she's still collecting paychecks, but she's not showing up. Still collecting paychecks, but she's not showing up. Complete embarrassment. This is someone who in federal court just a week and a half ago, whatever, admitted to taking a bribe in the City Hall bathroom, which, by the way, I used a City Hall bathroom. I used the all-gender City Hall bathroom yesterday. I didn't know what gender I was, so I used the all gender. Of course, there are only two. There's only two, but that's what they have on the side outside. So, by the way, also at Boston City Council yesterday, not that TFA was there to help, but they advanced a provision which would still require several more procedural approvals, including Beacon Hill approval, for ranked choice voting. Now, this is an elections department which is in receivership. They're in complete disarray. They can't run the existing elections, and ranked choice voting is infinitely more complex. And the city council thought that they're doing such a great job that they should probably go to this even more complex ranked choice voting. But this is an effort across the state, really, to, how do I want to say this, completely eradicate all Republican officials. It's not enough that they have a supermajority basically everywhere. Now they want complete and absolute control forever. And that's what ranked choice voting is, if you haven't figured it out. There'll be no Republican elected officials, or maybe just a trace amount, ever again if ranked choice voting gets approved, especially on a statewide basis. But like most of these wacky liberal ideas, they start small, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh my God, it's everywhere. It's like cancer. Yeah, it's like it. By the way, I thought this Globe article, since we're talking about the city, from Nikki Griswold, this is her post. As Wu seeks second term, some fear her commitment to progressive cause has dimmed. No, she's as loony as she always has been. No one fears the far left commitment of Mayor Wu. This is my latest with Emma Platoff, apparently, at the Boston Globe. Some fear her commitment to progressive causes have dimmed. I'll tell you why this article gets written. This article gets written because, first off, the left eat their young, right? It was one of the first things I ever learned when I went to work at the State House over 30 years ago. The left eat their young. And two, the left is continuing to move to the left, and so some of their very strong mainstream left people, like Maria Wu, all of a sudden, time goes on, and they're not even left enough for the hardcore nuts that are out. This is very French Revolutionary stuff going on here. At some point, she'll be part of the establishment, and the left will want to throw water on her because she's not left enough. But by that time, she'll probably get some Harvard professorship or something like that. Another story quickly. She inked a deal with the Carpenters Union yesterday over at Madison Park High School. And, most of the times you'd be like, oh, good for the Madison Park High School kids. But it could not escape me that the Carpenters Union is also the same union, different locals, but same organization, that houses the ICE hotline in Worcester. So, yeah, so Mayor Wu signs this deal to pipeline and boost membership of the Carpenters Union. All the while, the Carpenters Union is running this basically doxing hotline out of Worcester for ICE. Like, you can't make this stuff up. By the way, thank you so much for joining us today. Love your comments if you want to put it in there. Great to have you. Next quick story here. Stop and Shop strikes back. This took some corporate chutzpah. Organized crime is causing an increasing grocery prices at Boston Stop and Shop. So Markey, Warren, and Mrs. Potato Head wrote a letter to Stop and Shop saying, you're charging inner city people more money. And Stop and Shop wrote back, yeah, we are. And one of the reasons is because we're victims of organized retail crime, and you won't do anything about it. And so, yeah, usually you don't get executives, especially in Massachusetts, that are all, they're all captured up. I don't want to mention anybody in particular. I don't want to mention any particular interest group that is completely captured by the left. So let's just say Associated Industries. Let's just say them. But in this particular case, the guy that's the president of Stop and Shop, Roger Wheeler, had the testicular fortitude to say, retail theft is a major concern for retailers like us, and we need legislators to act swiftly to advance legislation and help protect our customers and associates. Wheeler highlighted the Combating Organized Retail Crime Act introduced last week by Chuck Grassley and a Democrat, Catherine Masto from Nevada. So they were responding. Once again, Massachusetts senators here, Wheeler was responding to a letter that they sent them. I got to call out Wheeler here. Once again, pat him on the back. And they wrote him a letter as to why prices appear to be higher for low-income communities. And he had the balls to say it's because of crime in the inner city. And you know what? Way to go, Stop and Shop. And way to go, Mr. Wheeler. I'm actually a Market Basket fan myself. But way to go, Stop and Shop. And way to go, Mr. Wheeler. This is the type of response that the Republican Party and Republican candidates need to have throughout. Enough of this BS that we're going to take the stipulations, the principles, the assertions, and you got to start to fight back against all of the layered insinuations of the Democrat. You're raising prices. That's because of you and your crime-ridden inner cities. That's why our prices are higher. So way to go, Stop and Shop, for standing up and saying the right thing and not putting up with this BS. By the way, RobinsonReport.substack.com. But you can also, the Robinson Report's going to be focused on Maine, of course. It better be, Steve. Don't you come down here to Massachusetts. My initiative, MassiveUturn.com. You want to get over to MassiveUturn.com and sign up for our daily email. Let's take a look at what today's story is over at MassiveUturn.com. Leah Foley kicking some, you know what, yesterday, saying that obstructing ICE should be vilified rather than glorified. And as of course, if you're following me on X, you probably saw the video where I interviewed Ashley Spring in Worcester saying she's not worried at all about being prosecuted by the federal government. Well, she might reconsider that. This is her clinging to the front of a vehicle, basically obstructing ICE, allegedly, last Thursday, a week ago today, in Worcester. And believe it or not, the left now wants reparations for illegals. Where is this here? Here it is here. The left wants reparations for illegals. They are having a rally. They are having a rally today at the State House. And they want to tell Maura Healey. This is the funny part. Maura Healey appointed the head of the ICE hotline, Delita Roca, to the State Board of Education. Maura Healey is an ally of the ICE hotline. Literally, she appointed the person who runs Neighbor to Neighbor, where all the money from the ICE hotline donations go, which is located in the Carpenters Union building in Worcester, as we mentioned earlier. Maura Healey appointed that executive director, Delita Roca, to the State Board of Education. You can't make so, and now they're going to Beacon Hill today, ostensibly to lobby her for these things. First off, they are calling upon Maura Healey to have courage to protect your constituents, immigrants, refugees, and all of us across the Commonwealth. This is their demand. It's not, they don't really have big demands. They first just want to declare ICE a rogue federal agency. They want the governor to do that. They want to restore COVID remote participation in our courthouses. Yeah, let's go back to COVID. Let's go back to COVID times with courthouses. Why do they want to do that? because the illegals don't want to show up at the courthouses because they're going to be afraid that they're going to be arrested by ICE. That's why they want to go back to remote courthouse appearances, because they don't want to find ICE outside the door waiting for them. And then they want to terminate the contract that the Plymouth County has and prevent any further contracts with ICE for detention facilities. And then this is the icing on the cake. They want the governor to create a reparations fund for families and communities shattered by kidnappings, detentions, and deportations. So let me get this straight. You come here illegally. We find out that you're here illegally. And at first we're targeting the worst of the worst. We capture you and send you back to wherever you came from. And then we should pay you money as a reparation for you breaking into our country. Do I understand this right? Wasn't it bad enough? Wasn't it bad enough that when you got here with our one-of-a-kind shelter law, we put you up at a hotel, we fed you, we provided insurance, job training, all the things, transportation to and from. We did all of that. Now we have to pay you to go away. It was one thing with Trump where he's like, hey, I'll put you on an airplane and I'll fly you back to Venezuela or wherever you want to go. That was one thing. But now you have to get compensated for your basically pain and suffering, your reparations, because you who broke into our country illegally have been harmed. I mean, you got to credit these people. Like they have no shame. Right? They have absolutely no shame. And that's what the far left is all about. That's what they're pushing today on Beacon Hill. They're going to help Maura Healey melt the ice, protect our immigrant communities in Massachusetts. You see, Robert Moses learned this a long time ago, the famous builder from New York. Not that I'm endorsing everything that he was ever about, but he understood that when you started a project, you put a stake in the ground. When he would build a road, he would just try to build some part of the road so that even if it was like kind of in the middle of nowhere, so that it got started, because once it started, it grew and it had its own constituency. And that's exactly what's happening with illegal immigrants here in Massachusetts. Illegal immigrants here in Massachusetts have now grown their own constituency. There's a whole illegal immigrant industrial complex that now has, we have moved. We've seen this in New York State and New York City last year. Now it's coming here where, thank God we won the election. Trump won the election last year. And now the bill is coming due. And all of these people are very upset that the people that are in this country illegally might have to go home. And so that's why they're rallying at the State House next week, or today, I should say. By the way, follow up to this story here with Leah Foley and saying that this behavior should be vilified rather than glorified. Following up on this statement, we have a video here. This woman here, she looks totally rational. This woman here is the leader of Mass 5051, which is the, you know what it is. By the way, we did track their funding to the best of our ability. Mass 5051, which is run by Rebecca Winter, is a Massachusetts corporation. It's not registered with the Charities Division at the Attorney General's office. It's actually registered over at the Massachusetts Secretary of State's office as a foreign corporation, meaning not in Massachusetts. And all of its donations are collected by something called Commonwealth United, which is a Delaware 501c4 organization. And then strangely enough, according to Bill Galvin, everyone associated with Massachusetts 50, 51, whatever they call it, are all live at the same address in Needham, 44 Dale. This is public record, so it's not like I'm, this is all public. You go look it right up. Rebecca Winter, Jeremy Sacco, Kyle Bemis, all list the same Needham address. All list the same Needham address. That's rather peculiar. We have not acquired the tax return of Mass 5051 yet. They may not have filed it because they only started as an organization in March of last year. So we're noticing a trend. If there is a trend with these nonprofits, is that when they're new, they usually have some parent nonprofit collect the money for them, which makes it much more difficult to find out exactly who's funding them, like right off the get-go. Yeah, it's a loophole that allows them to like get funneled from another nonprofit. Where's Duncan Burns? Is he on the? Yeah, you got to get on this, pal. It allows them to get money and raise money and have the facility to raise money without a lot of accountability, at least at first. And then, of course, they can close that down and start up on another different name again and rinse and repeat with hardly any like accountability. But nonetheless, moving on to what Rebecca Winter from Mass 5051 said, I believe this was yesterday. She understands that, how do I want to say this? What happened on Eureka Street a week ago was not a good look. Believe it or not, this woman here is starting to understand that maybe what happened in Worcester went a little too far. Believe it or not, she actually might be the voice of reason, such as it is, from the far left. Take a listen.
Understand that feeling, but these people will use more force than you can. If you fight back, you will be injured or worse. So instead, try to de-escalate. Use low, slow speech.
Use low, slow speech. I don't think that's what happened in Worcester last week.
No quick movements. Keep your arms lowered. Keep your chest open. Be aware of their personal space. Be on the side of their body opposite their sidearm. Breathe. Avoid interrupting, arguments. Stick to the key phrases and minimize interactions.
Minimize interaction. This is exactly the opposite of what the city councilor and the school committee candidate out in Worcester did last week. And clearly, even Rebecca Winter, who runs Mass 5051, who also sponsored the rally, I believe, yesterday or the other day at Worcester City Hall, even she realizes that the far left has gone off their rocker. And if there's another one of these episodes like we just saw in Worcester, the word has gone out that one more of those and there's going to be hell to pay. Add that to the warning that came out from Leah Foley yesterday, and you get the message. Let's see if we have any comments. Wendy Wakeman chimes in, a power broker fan. Yes, so for those of you who don't know, I just referenced a moment ago this famous book, which is like this. It's like this thick. But it's a great summer read. Fantastic book. It's called The Power Broker by Robert Caro. Caro. The Power Broker by Robert Caro. Like triple recommending it for your summer book. You would need no other summer book. It will take you all summer to read this sucker. But yes, 2 thumbs up for The Power Broker by Robert Caro. Excellent book. Next comment. Mark says, hi, Mark. How can the GOP governor candidates start getting some traction on Maura's nonstop nonsense? Well, actually, I'm going to talk about that coming up very, very soon on that show. So hold on, Mark. We're going to get to that topic in just a minute. So I'm so glad that we were kind of on the same wavelength there on that. Let me get to that for you in a second. Before I do that, I just want, you know what, we'll cut to that story right now since you asked, Mark. First off, to lead into that, Mark, Governor Healy is once again, this is at least her second hiring freeze. She had a hiring freeze last year, and I don't know if it was so much a freeze as it was, when you don't have, when it's not cold enough to freeze, but it was more like a slush. It was a hiring slush. And so there were a lot of holes in it, and then it expired like in November of last year. But now, because of Orange Man Bad, it's now a solid hiring freeze due to widespread economic uncertainty. Hiring restrictions take effect May 27th. Well, why not today? If it's an emergency, why are we waiting to the end of the month? It will not include a formal waiver process. No, of course not. This is the state government. There'll be an informal waiver process that will be rife with politics. Come on. It will not include a formal waiver process. No, but if you donate to the right person, yeah, maybe we can get your job. Yeah, maybe we can get you a job. I would say, Mark, that yesterday, Mr. Shortsleeve did issue a statement on the economic uncertainty situation here, but it was put on Twitter in such a way that I can't even read it with my eyes. I have really bad eyesight. I'm blind as a bat. But I have not heard a lot of detail from him. How can we get the candidates to respond? Well, number one, just generally speaking, candidates can make a lot more video content. That would be number one. And two, Mark, I would definitely say that they've got to start to get out of their feeling that only by being a moderate can they win. So if you went over to, let's just pull it up here really quickly for you. My website here, massiveuturn.com. We'll just pull it up for you real quick. Down at the bottom is a post about how the GOP can beat Healy in 2026. And there's a little, look at that. There's a little graphic that actually tells you exactly how to do it. And we had a state representative candidate earlier this week, Mr. Long up in Beverly, who seems like a really nice guy, but he got, how do I want to say this? This is the nice way to say it. He got demolished, 75-25. He, just by looking at his website, seems to be a Republican, a moderate Republican. And that defeat, plus we've seen a number of defeats across the state at the municipal level of Republican or Republican-friendly type people, indicate to us that the Democrats are super motivated right now. They have a villain, Orange Man Bad. Whereas Mr. Keneally, Mr. Deaton, Mr. Shortsleeve, if we look at this matrix that I posted up here, they kind of fall into this quadrants here. They kind of fall into the Baker-friendly, and then the way they're packaged to be suburban voter-friendly. In the lower right hand of this little box here, these four different boxes. I hope you can see that, Mark. Keneally, Shortsleeve, and Deaton are Baker-friendly and suburban voter-friendly. That's the package, and that's the policy. Deal was Trump-friendly, but he was still packaged in a suburban voter, soccer mom appealing package, right? No offense to my friend Jeff Deal, but you kind of look like a class president. No, there's nothing wrong with that. You're clean cut and you're squared away. That's great, but you look like a typical Republican. That's the package, and packaging matters. Packaging matters. That's why Scott Brown wore the barn coat, drove the pickup truck. That's why Mr. Youngkin in Virginia wore the red fleece vest, because they didn't want to look like a typical Republican. I have noticed just in the last week or so that Mr. Shortsleeve and Mr. Keneally have kind of lost the suit and tie a little bit. But what we really need is someone to be a Trump-friendly candidate and to have a marketing package around that candidate that aligns them more with Reagan Democrats than suburban soccer moms. So the packaging here, Mark, I think is so incredibly important. We have to have Trump-friendly policy because people like Trump-friendly policies, right? The policy, they don't like the guy. They don't like the guy, but they like the policy, right? So you have to have somebody that likes the policy and will attack the Democrats on the absurdities, just like the president of Stop and Shop did. That's why I covered that story earlier today. He's not putting up with their BS. Don't tell me that grocery prices are high because I'm racist. Grocery prices are high because crime through the cities, which you control. So we have to have somebody that is not scared of actually putting forth the truth and putting it forward in a kind of a Reagan Democrat marketing package. That's the winning strategy. And why is that the winning strategy? Because that gives you what the Democrats have now. The Democrats are super motivated. Let me tell you, we need somebody that's going to super motivated a bunch of reluctant voters. If you look here, the most important part of this diagram, Mark, this is like the best questions I've ever gotten on a live stream. Thank you for asking it. The most important part of this diagram is the part on the left-hand side where it says reluctant voters and lean Democrat. The more you go towards the Reagan Democrats, the more reluctant they are. That's why you need a candidate which is incredibly dynamic to get them out, someone that they can actually believe in, because a lot of these reluctant voters don't believe in politicians. But every once in a while, they're like, no, that's my guy. And the other line that goes up and down, more voters, less voters, is the more that you lean into the Reagan Democrats or Fall River voters, the voter pool goes way up. Now, inversely, as you lean towards soccer moms, the voter pool contracts and it becomes more Democratic. So if you're going towards soccer moms, that was a strategy from 1996. I remember I worked for a candidate in 1996, and we got this polling. All the congressional candidates got it, and we were like, "Oh, we got to go for the soccer moms." That's 30 years old thinking. And just to lay out another question or this theory that I've seen out there. Oh no, Fall River voted for Trump. They had a local reason. There's a reason why Fall River voted for Trump. It had nothing to do with the fact that Trump's numbers were way up in Lawrence or that Trump won all the blue wall states. No, it had nothing to do. It was that there was a reason. Yeah. You know what the reason was? They liked him and they liked his policies. So, just my feeling is if you're going to have somebody, that runs in 2026, you want to have someone that is not afraid of saying the word Trump. Mr. Shortsleeve said he voted for the ticket. Mr. Shortsleeve couldn't even say the word Trump. And I understand that the Republican establishment is very scared of, how do I want to say this? The energy that's on the Democrat side. They're very scared of that. But you're not going to beat that energy with milquetoast. Not going to happen. You're not going to beat that energy with country club Republicans because there's not enough soccer moms out there and they're already leaning Democrats. Hello, wake up. All right. So rant over. Thank you, Mark, for asking the question. Joey Batts, he did not get the memo. Maybe he's watching today. Maybe he'll get the memo. It's still Charlie Baker's GOP in Massachusetts. Just shut up. I'm not even going to cover that. That is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. So thank you, Mark, for asking the question. Let's move on to energy. Bay State lawmakers call for brake check on electric car mandate. Boston Herald, Matt Metzger. All right, so Matt, right off the bat, I got a problem with your opening statement here. It's not that anyone is saying the idea behind driving more electric vehicles is a bad one. You lost me right there. Actually, I'm saying that. So, Matt, maybe you should have checked with me before you filed this article last night at 6:24 p.m. But yeah, I'm saying that. The idea of driving more electric vehicles, it is a bad one. No, electric vehicles suck, right? They're giant golf carts. They have huge environmental footprint, more than, in my opinion, more than a gasoline combustion engine. Right now, we only can get the minerals from some places because we won't mine them here in the United States. So no, I'm totally against like even the presumption. But I also want to just point out that who are you, Boston Herald, Matt Metzger, to lay down this premise right in the first line of the same? No one is saying that it's driving more electric is a bad one. Who are you to say that? Did you ask everybody? No, but that's the premise. That's the bias in the media. You know, somebody asked me the other day, they called me a journalist, and then they compared me to some other journalists. And, you know, my opinion is journalists are just people who lie to their audience. And the lie is, well, we don't have any bias, right? A journalist is someone who just lies to their audience, and the lie is that they don't have any bias. No, we don't have any bias. We're journalists. Okay. All right, Matt Metzger, Boston Herald. And so we just been through this down the road the other day with the trucks. Remember the light trucks problem? And I don't know if you're aware of this, but by 2026 model year, we're supposed to be selling 35% of the new vehicles in Massachusetts is supposed to be electric vehicles. And the problem is they might not be available. And we're supposed to be by 2035. They're all supposed to be electric vehicles. And again, if they could make a better electric vehicle that's better than the gasoline combustion engine, fine. Everyone loves a better mousetrap. Fine, go buy the new electric vehicle if you think it's a better vehicle. Go ahead, go do it. But it will never become a better vehicle if it doesn't actually face fair market competition from any other vehicle that could be safely produced. In other words, it only makes sense, just like the stupid windmills off of Martha's Vineyard in Nantucket. They only make sense when it has a monopoly. Only makes sense when it has a monopoly. Next story. Jeff Deal Report, Real Deal Report, noticed yesterday that just out of the blue, there was this massive electric outage in downtown Boston. Widespread power outage leaves thousands in Boston in the dark. Can anyone say unreliable grid or grid inertia? Apparently there was a substation failure. Nothing to see here, folks. Move along. Which brings us to our main story of the day. But let me just check. Let me just check if we have any other comments. The Voldemort strategy, Wakeman says. Is that a Harry Potter reference? Because I'm not getting the reference. I've heard the name, but yeah. I'm not up to date on the term, but thank you, Wendy. All right. So yesterday we talked about smart meters, and my concern about smart meters was basically that it would be very much like what happened in Texas with the smart thermostats, with the utility company could actually control your thermostat. And it's not exactly like that, but it's like the cousin of that. And smart meters, well, let's just pick it up here because the Secretary of Energy here in Massachusetts said that you're going to enjoy these smart meters. But let me tell you, there's actually probably a hidden electric rate increase with smart meters, which are basically wireless devices that they can control remotely to price your electricity differently at different times. Let's get into it. First off, Secretary Tepper.
All across the country, people have already rolled out these meters, and people are really enjoying them and understanding that it can help them save money on their electric bills.
They're really enjoying them, and all across the country, they've rolled them out. That is true. Massachusetts is one of the last states in the country to get these smart meters. There's a reason for that. They stink. Because Massachusetts, we're actually smart on this. We don't want Big Brother to be able to control our electric usage. And as I'm going to talk to you about in just a second, we're going to break out the chalkboard. I'm going to show you how this is actually a hidden rate increase. By the way, also yesterday, if you choose not to go the smart meter route, you will be charged $34 a month, which is $408 a year. And plus it's actually more than that because there's a $42 one-time charge on top of that. Because even though you're not going with the smart meter, they're still going to give you some type of new meter, which is like, I'm like, why? My current meter works fine. It probably has your electric meter probably has a lifetime of like 50 years. Those things are almost flawless. Right? It's 130-year technology. And the reason why it works so well is because it's 130-year technology. They've kind of perfected it. And if you don't go with the smart meter, they are now going to charge you more for your electricity for that. It's kind of like when you go on the Mass Pike and you don't do the smart, what is the transponder? You don't do the transponder thing. You actually pay more. Same idea. In fact, smart meters and congestion pricing, they have a lot in common. Watch this. Here's a fact sheet done by the Clean Energy Wire, which purports to be journalism for the energy transition. What are dynamic electricity tariffs? They're called tariffs? Oh, isn't that perfect? Maura Healey wants dynamic electricity tariffs. Oh, that kind of ties her right with Trump, doesn't it? And why are they central to the energy transition? Why are dynamic electric rate energy tariffs central to the energy transition? Let me answer the question for you right now. They're central to the energy transition because when we move to renewables or clean energy, there's not going to be enough energy. Dynamic tariffs are effectively a form of rationing. Let's go to YouTube where we learn everything. Hold on, it's loading. Oh, now it's loading an ad. Hold on a quick second. We'll just wait for the ad. Skip ad. Here we go. All right, here we go. I had this all queued up, and apparently we'll pick it up somewhere in the middle so you don't have to watch the whole thing. But here we go.
This results in a surplus of renewable electricity in the grid. This oversupply is not only a challenge, but also an opportunity. Not everyone has the option to install their own PV system.
Not everyone has the option to install their own battery charging system thing when the renewables, because the wind blew, it provided too much electricity. Not everybody has that. So
this is where dynamic electricity tariffs come into play, allowing everyone to benefit from renewable and affordable energy.
It's going to be so enjoyable, just like Secretary Tepper said.
Unlike fixed-rate tariffs, which offer a constant price per kilowatt hour, dynamic tariffs adjust to hourly price fluctuations on the electricity market based on supply and demand.
It goes up and down naturally. No, I love it how they actually drew that diagram there. They had some natural lows and some natural highs based upon demand? All right. Yeah. I don't think so. Let's go to the chalkboard. Let's go to the chalkboard and actually show you exactly how this is going to work. So got my magic pen here. This is basically the same chart that we had in that video from YouTube there. Fixed rate is the blue line where you're charged the same amount all day long and all month long for electricity. Dynamic, or if you want to call it automatic tariffs, the price goes up and down basically on the hourly basis during the course of the day. So as demand goes up, the price goes up. See how that's very much like congestion pricing, which Democrats also love. It's very much like congestion pricing, which is the disaster that it is below 60th Street in Manhattan right now. As the price goes up, the demand goes up. The problem is, and the difference is, in industries like hotels and airplanes, when you're looking to book a hotel in Manhattan, if the price suddenly goes way up, you have a choice to stay someplace else or not to go there at all. Like, for instance, if the hotel that I like to go to in Manhattan is all of a sudden very expensive, I have a secondary place that I like to stay at in Jersey City, which is almost always less expensive. I usually don't choose that first. I'd like to stay in Manhattan, but if Manhattan is too expensive, I will stay in Jersey City. There's a beautiful Hyatt over there. It's fantastic. It's right near the boat, all the things. But it's not as fun as staying right in Manhattan. What is? Having said that, I have the choice in that moment of booking the hotel room. But you buying the electricity on the hour-by-hour basis, you don't have a choice. And so what will happen with dynamic pricing is that eventually the price will be up here, and that will become the new normal. Jack, why would that become the new normal? Because under this scenario, there'll be no incentive for the electric system to find a better source of, or cheaper source of electricity, because they'll be able to instantly, without any resistance through the smart meters, just charge you more. And that will be Maura Healey's hidden rate hike. You know, in the current system, when electricity gets too expensive, the ESO New England or whatever it's called, they have to go out and find other electricity, and it's on them to deal with the problem in real time, as if there's fake time. They have to go solve the problem, at least on the short term. In the future, with smart meters, they won't have to do that. They'll just pass the cost on to you. And as our green energy religion starts to push us more and more towards windmills and solar and all the things that are highly variable, especially based upon weather, we're going to have more and more situations where the supply does not meet demand. And therefore, the fixed rate will be lower than the dynamic rate. You won't see, there won't be much when we finally get to this energy transition thing. There won't be, let me just get my much of this. The red line will not be below the fixed rate anymore. The red line will almost always be above the fixed rate, because this green energy transition, this religion, will not provide enough electricity to meet the demand, and that will be Maura Healey's hidden rate hike delivered to you by the smart meters. This really isn't that hard to figure out. And no, I'm not like, that's a conspiracy. No, it's just actually the technology and the economics. When the system has no incentive to go find cheaper electricity, then they can just automatically pass the increase onto you, and they have no penalty for doing that, and they can do it automatically on an hourly basis, guess what? That's what they're going to do, and your electricity rates will come up. It'll just become the new normal. And that's going to drive your rates higher than anything. All right, let's see if we have any more comments. No, not today. But we've been on, almost an hour. It's been a beautiful time. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow, Friday. Have a great day. Bye-bye.